Abdullah Gül, is the 11th President of Turkey, in office since August 28, 2007. He previously served for 4 months as Prime Minister from 2002 to 2003, and as Minister of Foreign Affairs from 2003 to 2007. Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdoğan's nomination of ɡuːl as a presidential candidate drew strong and highly vocal opposition from ardent supporters of secularism in Turkey. In May 2007, ɡuːl's first bid for presidency was blocked by the Constitutional Court, due to concern over views ɡuːl expressed during his welfare party years. However, following the parliamentary elections in July of the same year, which were won by the Justice and Development Party with 46.6% of the popular vote, he was eventually elected president on August 28, 2007 and was sworn in the same day, becoming the first president of Islamist background in the modern history of Turkey. Early life: President ɡuːl was born in Kayseri, a city in central Anatolia. Coincidentally, he was born on the 27th anniversary of the proclamation of Turkish independence. His father is Ahmet Hamdi ɡuːl, a retired Air Force mechanic, and his mother is Adviye ɡuːl. His family has lived in the ɡuːl district of Kayseri for about a century. His ancestry ethnicity according to Ankara presidential residence statement is Turkish Muslim. ɡuːl was also called with the name Cumhur by his family. Education: ɡuːl studied economics at the Istanbul University. During his graduate education, he studied for 2 years in London and Exeter in the United Kingdom. Whilst in the UK he was on the executive committee of the Federation of Student Islamic Societies. He pursued an academic career after that and worked at the higher education facilities in Adapazarı collaborating in the establishment of the Department for Industrial Engineering and teaching management courses at the ITU Sakarya Engineering Faculty, which later became the Sakarya University in 1992. He received a PhD degree from the Istanbul University in 1983. He is also conferred to an honorary PhD degree from Amity University, Noida, India on February 8, 2009, and an LLD degree from University of Dhaka on February 13, 2010. Between 1983 and 1991, he worked at the Islamic Development Bank in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. In 1991, he became a lecturer in international management. Entry into politics: ɡuːl became acquainted with right-wing politics early during his high school years. During his university education, he became a member of the Islamist nationalist Milli-registered trademark gg'l in the line of Necip Fazıl ± gg'l current. He was elected a member of the Turkish parliament for the Refah Partisi from the Kayseri electoral district in 1991 and 1995. During these years, he made statements about the political system of Turkey that was designed by Mustafa Kemal Atatürk and the Turkish national movement, which included "This is the end of the Republican period, and the secular system has failed and we definitely want to change it." These statements caused controversy when his candidacy for the 2007 presidential election was announced by Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdoğan. In 1999, he kept his seat as a member of the Fazilet Partisi, which was subsequently outlawed by the Constitutional Court for its violation of the Constitution. Its predecessor, the Refah Partisi, was also outlawed by the Constitutional Court for its violation of the Constitution, especially the principle of secularism. By this time, ɡuːl had apparently moderated his views and was reportedly considered to be part of the Virtue Party's reformist faction. As such, he was among the founders of the Adalet ve Kalkınma ± Partisi, a party which billed itself as a moderate conservative party in the European tradition. He was elected once again to represent Kayseri in 2002. An interview he gave in 2002 summarizes his criticisms of the Refah Partisi under the leadership of Necmettin Erbakan and his portrayal of the AKP as a moderate party. In the Welfare Party, there were groups demanding Sharia rule. Welfare did not represent the local values we are now cultivating. The ideology of the party was partially shaped by alien imports. He was referring to the impact of the Islamist ideology of the Iranian Revolution and Arab states on welfare's ideology. Our vision was at odds with the rest of the party. The despotic rule of Erbakan Hoxha made it impossible for us to realize our vision under the rubric of the national view. We believe that modernization and being Muslim complement each other. We accept the modern values of liberalism, human rights, and market economy. AKP career, Prime Minister. After the Justice and Development Party won the most votes in the November 2002 general election, ɡuːl was appointed Prime Minister, as AK party leader Recep Tayyip Erdoğan was unable to assume the role due to a ban on his participation in politics. After ɡuːl's government secured legislation allowing Erdoğan's return to politics, the latter took over as Prime Minister on March 14, 2003. ɡuːl was appointed Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister. Foreign Minister. After becoming Foreign Minister in March 2003, ɡuːl became the key player in Turkey's attempts to receive an accession date for the European Union and in its attempts to improve relations with Syria and maintaining its relationship with the Turkic-speaking countries of Central Asia and the Caucasus. On January 8, 2008, ɡuːl flew to the United States to meet with U.S. President George W. Bush and U.S. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice. Presidency. Prime Minister Erdoğan announced on April 24, 2007 that ɡuːl would be the Justice and Development Party candidate in the 2007 presidential election. Previously, there had been speculation that Erdoğan himself would be the party's candidate, which had provoked substantial opposition from secularists. When a boycott of opposition parties in parliament deadlocked the election process, ɡuːl formally withdrew his candidacy on May 6, 2007. If elected, he would be the first president to have been involved with Islamist parties. But a few days later, on May 11, 2007, when he inquired after the alterations to the Turkish constitution which now allowed the people to elect the president directly rather than a parliamentary vote, ɡuːl announced that he was still intending to run. Following the July 2007 parliamentary election, the AK party renominated ɡuːl as its presidential candidate on August 13. The election was again held as a vote of parliament. On August 14, ɡuːl submitted his candidacy application to Parliament and expressed his commitment to secularism at a news conference. On August 28, 2007, he was elected president in the third round of voting. In the first two rounds, a two-thirds majority of MPs had been required, but in the third round he needed only a simple majority. ɡuːl was sworn in immediately thereafter. The process was a very low-key affair. ɡuːl's swearing-in was not attended by the chief of the Turkish General Staff and was boycotted by the opposition Republican People's Party. Then the handover of power at the presidential palace was held behind closed doors. ɡuːl's wife was not present. This approach continued. The traditional evening reception hosted by the new president at the presidential palace for the country's highest authorities was announced for 11:30 in the morning and wives were not invited. His presidency has been described as a new era in Turkish politics, for being the first devout Muslim president of Turkey. ɡuːl received messages of congratulation from the US, EU and German authorities while Turkish Prime Minister Tayyip Erdoğan made a statement saying a structure doomed to uncertainty has been overcome. In September 2008 he became the first Turkish leader to visit Armenia, sparking a major debate in Turkey. In November 2011, President ɡuːl led a state visit to the United Kingdom as a guest of Queen Elizabeth II. The president met political and business leaders, visited the Olympic Park and was guest of honor at a state banquet at Buckingham Palace. In November 2013, Abdullah Gül called on Muslim countries to fight against Islamophobia during his address at the 29th session of the COMSC in Istanbul. He said, "Islamophobia remains a critical problem, which instigates unsubstantial prejudices against our region and Muslims. Terror plays a role in the persistence of such problems. We have to combat any form of deviation playing into the hands of people who equate terrorism with Islam, the religion of love, tolerance and conciliation." Statements on the Middle East. ɡuː has been a critic of Israel and Western countries which established relations with Israel at the expense of Palestine. After the Israeli raid on the MV Mavi Marmara in 2010, he advocated the complete ending of diplomatic relations with Israel, stating that Israel will turn into a complete apartheid regime in the next 50 years if it does not allow for the establishment of an independent and proud Palestinian state with its capital in East Jerusalem. That is why we are exerting efforts to achieve a fair peace with a strategic point of view, which is to Israel's own interests. On December 31, 2012, he stated with respect to the Arab Spring and democratization of the Arab world, that democracy is not only about elections. The task of creating essential democratic institutions the rule of law, habits of accountability, gender equality, and freedom of expression and faith still awaits these countries. ɡuː believes that the Arab world has a long road ahead and that it needs to do more to entrench and embrace democratic government. History of titles, 1950–1983, Mr. Abdullah Gül, 1983–1991, Dr. Abdullah Gül, 1991–1996, ASUK. Professor Dr. Abdullah Gül, Northern Mariana Islands, 1996–2002, ASUK. Professor Dr. Abdullah Gül, Minister of State of Turkey, 2002–2003, His Excellency ASUK. Professor Dr. Abdullah Gül, 58th Prime Minister of Turkey, 2003–2007, His Excellency ASUK. Professor Dr. Abdullah Gül, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs of Turkey, 2007 present, His Excellency ASUK. Professor Dr. Abdullah Gül, 11th President of the Republic of Turkey, Foreign Honours, see also, Ankara Car paragraph YKA the Presidency of the Republic of Turkey, list of presidential trips made by Abdullah Gül, Abdullah Gül interchange, references. External links, Presidency of the Republic of Turkey, Abdullah Gül on Twitter.